Hey, good evening. I was so stoked about the situation that happened, I believe yesterday. I had a client who I had helped him and his wife buy a house about 3 or 4 years ago. And when they bought their house, they had fallen out of contract a couple other times. They told me they were pressured with some of realtors into putting offers on houses and then not feeling comfortable with it. When they met me, they just felt very comfortable, and they knew I was protecting them, and they knew I wasn't pushing them, and I was trying to really make sure they made the right decision. So anyway, fast forward to now, 3, 4 years later, I want to say 4 years later, they're getting divorced, which is heartbreaking because it's just heartbreaking, right? And the husband called me and said, hey, we're getting divorced. It's amicable. We're both wanting to get divorced, but she wants this and she wants that, and it's just over and this and that. And I said, okay. And that was in January, and he called me back and he said, okay, we've talked. We're both at the same place. We're both ready to move ahead on this. So I said, okay, I'll go. And the wife speaks Spanish, and so I had my husband translating and her husband, my other client, translating. And basically what happened was I went and we were discussing the contract and the logistics and the finances and how to move forward financially for them and what the closing costs were and stuff like that. But what was interesting was the wife kept talking about how, and she's speaking Spanish and I understand quite a bit, but she was just talking about how he had spoiled her and she was his little girl, and then he stopped spoiling her, and then he didn't really pay attention to her, and he was working all the time, and and then she didn't want him in the house. And anyway, there's all this dynamics, right? So they're talking, and it wasn't angry, it was a little intense, but I wanted to be a psychologist when I grew up. So my mother and my stepmom told me, no, Jackie, stay a realtor. You do all that stuff naturally better than most. So you'll make more money. And I love the Lord. And so sometimes, I'm going to put it on a sidetrack for those of you who are Christians. Sometimes you don't quite fit in the church, right? Like, I know a lot of times I've served faithfully for 5-10 years more, and faithfully. And I just don't, it's just kind of like, I don't know. I stay faithful, it doesn't discourage me per se, but sometimes I go, well, the Lord's put so much on my heart. He's given me so much to share, and He just reveals so much to me, and I just want a place to encourage people. So I use social media by God's grace and my workplace. So basically we get to the place where she's going on and on about this and talking about where they fell short and how she's not mad, and they're not mad, and they're not friends, and they're not angry at each other. And he's saying, oh, well, I just can't afford to have take care of 2 households. And so long story short, we just went back and forth, and then she just starts bawling and bawling and bawling. And so I just kind of winked at the husband. I said, let's just listen to her. And so then I would listen to her, and then I'd say back to her what she was saying. So I'd say, well, it sounds to me like you're grieving, even though you want to move forward with the divorce, you're still grieving the fact that you're getting divorced and that you missed being taken care of and cared for and cherished. Anyway, long story short, a lot went down, but at the end of it all, the husband starts weeping and she's weeping, and he's like, well, can you give us a minute? I'm like, absolutely. So he looks at me, he goes, this is the first time in 2 years that we've actually talked like this and we've been able to communicate, and it's really breaking my heart. And I was like, well, Alana, my daughter's calling me. I said, just come. I said, look, if you guys stay married, or I've done something to help you, and even if you don't sell your home, this is worth $1 billion to me. Like, if I could just bring you guys together to a place of peace and cooperation and communication, whether it's to sell your home, keep your home, get back together, it's awesome. So basically he's like, well, he texted me later. He goes, well, we still know that we really never wanted to be married to each other, but we got pregnant and we tried to do the right thing, but we really do care about each other. And then he texted me, he's like, I'm so sorry, we're not going to sell. We're going to keep the house for 4 more years till my son gets out of high school. And I said, wow, I said, that's amazing. I said, what a great decision. He goes, I'm so sorry for wasting your time. I said, you didn't waste my time. I said, that is awesome. I'm here to serve you. You're not here to get me a deal. I'm here to serve you. And what happened today was so awesome to actually have that place and have someone neutral there to just help you guys communicate and get to a better place of communication and respect and clarity. So anyway, I find that, as much as I try to want to fit into the church, sometimes I just don't always. So the Lord always reminds me, Jackie, I gave you the world as your pulpit. I gave you the world as your, place to preach and minister for me. Yeah, I make money, but that's not the focus, right? So remember, the place that we're working is really a mission field, a ministry, if you're in the faith. And maybe you don't know the Lord, but whether you know the Lord or not, you can really take a hold of this truth and hopefully seek God and hear him speak to you and confirm the truth of it, of you're there for a reason. Don't waste that time. Pay attention to those who are around you. Pay attention to what's going on and learn to serve others, and not about you closing the deal, not about you making money, not about you. It's about him and showing his love and his kindness and bringing people together. So one of my main passions in life is trying to help families stay together and avoid divorces, because most divorces happen because people are not able to communicate in a safe environment with people that are effectively mediating and able to help them communicate and get to a place of mutual understanding and taking responsibility, independent responsibility, individual responsibility, so that they can actually both be real with each other and come to a place of healing and forgiveness and acknowledging the shortcomings and the pain and forgiving each other for that. So, I was hearing about these lawyers. The guy's lawyer was telling him, oh, don't give her a car, don't give her the house, don't give her this money, don't give her that. His lawyer's telling him this. He's like, I love her. She's the mother of my child. I don't necessarily need to be married to her. So the lawyers, I've never heard a good story about a lawyer. I'm sorry. So please, go to your pastors, don't get divorced, get help. It's not about divorce per se, but it really kind of turns into it, because get people that really know God and know how to speak truth to you to help you walk it out. I mean, heck, if you're abused and stuff and cheated on and all that stuff, and sometimes we stay too long. So you need to be around sound counsel and people that are going to really hear what's going on and speak words of truth and life according to the kingdom. Our jobs are our ministry. Where we go is our mission field, whether it's the gas station, the grocery store, our workplace. So I was really encouraged. I hope you are too.